We'd like to get started. Lindsay? Mike, go hustle people on. So, good morning. As the last few of our attendees make it through the breakfast buffet line and get their coffee, we want to start with a soft start, I guess. Lindsay and I want to talk you through a few housekeeping items. I know that you'll be spending a few days with us here, so we want to make sure everybody knows where the restrooms are and what to expect for the coming days.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So to start, the restrooms are out the door to the left, past reception. If you can't find them, please ask someone at the reception desk. They can direct you further. We've tried to build in thoughtful breaks throughout the day, so hopefully everyone can be patient and wait for a break to come before they exit. As we've done in the past, we are videotaping this conference, and we are making all speaker presentations available online at our website pretty soon after the conference. We are breaking for lunch today at 12 noon. It's going to be a similar setup that we had for breakfast, so we'll have a buffet outside the hallway, and then feel free to bring your lunch back in. You can change your seating. I know we're all creatures of habit, but you do not need to stay where you are right now. Feel free to mingle and meet new people. And then any concerns or questions that you have, you can either ask reception or find a staff member. We have these lovely blue tags so you can identify us, and we're happy to help you with any questions or needs you may have.
So one final thought. So we have really beautiful programs prepared for you to help guide you through the next 4 days. In fact, these were so beautiful that the FedEx driver thought he'd keep them for an extra day. So we're hoping that they arrive today by lunchtime so that we can distribute them for your use. In lieu of the official program, Lindsay and our staff printed out the overview agenda that we provided you online. If you need to have more detailed agenda information before the official programs arrive, these wristbands that were provided to you at registration actually have an electronic version of that full program. So we apologize for that, and we'll get those out to you as soon as possible. So with that, I will turn it over to Jan for opening comments.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this edition of the recurrent CPTR workshops. We've been having them for 7 or 8 years, I think. As often in a project, it's kind of hard to define the beginning of a project. It's usually easier to define the end of a project. But was it the first meeting we had with Ray Woosley and Janet Woodcock? Or was it the launch by Peggy Hamburg of the whole initiative? It's been 7 or 8 years that we have been at it. And you know, if you look at the complexity of the program and all the parallel work and so on, it covers an incredibly wide series of activities, which range from, you know, molecular basis of our understanding of drug resistance to community work, and everything in between. It's a very, very wide-spanning program. So it's actually useful, I think, to I remind myself on a regular basis that the original scope, which still very much stands, is pretty narrow, actually, for CPTR. It's about how can we accelerate the development of TB drug regimens by testing drugs in combinations before they are individually approved. That's it, really. It's not trying to solve all the problems of TB. It's a very, very focused effort on that particular aspect of TB drug development. Being also aware that to be successful in this, the field really needed new tools to evaluate drug candidates. It's often said TB drugs are old and we need to have new drugs, where the methods with which we evaluate these TB drugs are also old. And so one effort of the CPTR initiative had to do with the supporting work on developing better evaluation methods, but always focused on this idea of how can we accelerate TB drug regimen development. 7 or 8 years into it, it is very gratifying for me to see how progress is being made. It's always very risky to give one example, but the one I thought about most recently is got a lot of mileage around meta-analysis of the 3 big fluoroquinolone trials. There was a lot of learning in these trials that failed. We have to remind ourselves that failure for TB drugs is that you cure 80% of people instead of 90% of people, so it's a qualified failure. But that's one example where I think there was a lot of learnings because of the ability to integrate those data. And there are many other examples of terrific progress. At a higher level, what I really appreciate is I believe is that the whole notion of regimen development actually is being adopted broader and broader, reflecting in some ways in the regulatory guidelines, and it stops being the Gates thing and the CPAT thing and the TB Alliance thing, which it was at the beginning, and it's now being, the thinking around accelerating regimen development has been incorporated, is being incorporated in the whole TB R&D community. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you all for being here. I hope you will enjoy the program. It's pretty exciting. Thanks again.